Hello. I wanted to do a video today about a couple of Doom bands from the 1980s, a couple of my favorite Doom bands from the 1980s, and the albums that they released that are two of my favorites in the entire decade of the 80s. And I'm more of a 70s guy and a 90s guy. I like the 70s and the 90s. The 80s, it's not, it doesn't really... I wasn't a fan of like hair metal or, power metal or really thrash metal even. Although thrash is okay, it's not my favorite. The 80s had too much butt rock, and I just wasn't a big fan of a lot of the core 80s stuff. But Doom did have some fantastic flourishes in the 80s. And a couple of the bands and albums I'm going to talk about, one is more of a typical traditional Doom, and the other is not as much Doom. It's kind of more thrash, but it still has a Doom feel to it. As for me, Doom is more than just the style of music being played. Doom is a lot about the themes and just the feel of the album. The whole package. Not just necessarily the type of music that's being played. So the first is this very famous 80s album called King of the Dead by Cirith Ungol, released in 1984. Yes, this one is a masterpiece of Doom. Now, Cirith Ungol was from Ventura, California, that formed in 1971. They were doom and power metal oriented, and they were known for fantasy type, themes and lyrics, as you can see from the artwork of the album here. It's, pretty mythical and, a lot of sorcery and sword, old medieval type theme. They released their debut album, Frost and Fire, in 1981, which is also a really, really great album and a very early Doom album. However, it does not reach the levels of King of the Dead, but I will recommend you listen to Frost and Fire if you haven't as well. It's got some really fantastic songs on it. Maybe that's why it really always stands out to me as a beautiful instrumental track. The riffs are just gorgeous on that song. It's also got the self-titled opening track, Frost and Fire, which is fantastic. And Better Off Dead is a really good track. It's really solid all the way through, but King of the Dead is where Cirith Ungol really hit their peak. And it's obviously the album that is the most known. So I'm sure a lot of you know Cirith Ungol. I'm sure many of you know this album, but just for those that don't, I thought it deserved a video to highlight it, especially considering it's turning 40 next year. It was released in July 1984, coming up on its 40th anniversary. So it's a good time to get back into it. Oh, actually, Cirith Ungol, another good reason to do the video right now. Cirith Ungol just announced that they are retiring after, 5 decades almost of being, basically 5 decades of being together. They reformed in the 2010s, and they've been doing a lot of shows, and they're actually doing their last tour next year throughout 2024. That'll be your last chance to see Cirith Ungol. If you haven't seen them, they just announced that they're packing it in and calling it a day. A well-deserved break for them. They're getting up there, obviously, in age. So if you have a chance, if Cirith Ungol is near you, I'd highly recommend to go see them. Now, I have never had the chance, but I'm sure that the songs on King of the Dead are quite good in a live setting. The other album I wanted to talk about is this one, which is the album that's not so much purely Doom. It has a lot of thrash in it, but it's called Melissa by Mercyful Fate. Now the riffs on this album, some of the best I've ever heard. I think they're some of the best riffs that have ever been laid in a recording. I mean, if you love metal riffs, this album has the riffs of about 5 albums worth of riffs in it. And just the evil sound of the, I mean, you know, this is a band formed by King Diamond. And so, you know, they're all about the Satan stuff, and boy, this album really does sound evil. The riffs just have this piercing, grueling sound to them. Atmosphere, if you're into atmospheric stuff, boy, this one creates just a fantastic atmosphere. If you're into that occult and Satan stuff, scary, spooky stuff. And that's why I consider it doom enough to be featured here, is that, you know, and we all love our riffs here on SMOD, you know. I think people who are really a fan of the riff, you know, the power of the riff, I think those are the people that are into stoner rock, you know, because stoner rock has some of the most amazing riffs. That's why I fell in love with stoner rock. I mean, who doesn't listen to desert rock and stoner rock and like Caius and stuff like that, and who doesn't fall in love with the guitar, you know, Jimi Hendrix, all that kind of stuff. Well, these guys have heavy metal riffing, more of a power and thrash type riffing, but again, it's got a doom feel to it. The theme, you know, it has this atmosphere of doom, evil occult type stuff. So, and it just had its 40th birthday. It was released in October of 1983. They did release another album that was pretty highly acclaimed right after the next year, but I tend to favor Melissa. I think it's their best album. 7 tracks, song titles like Evil and A Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven. Into the Coven's beautiful and just so wicked sounding. Satan's Fall is an 11-minute prog/thrash epic that just goes crazy with all these different changes, and it's one of those songs that changes, and it's like 3 songs in one song. You know, it's like I guess I would consider it like the Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen of heavy metal, like Bohemian Rhapsody. You know, it's like 3 songs in one, and it changes and just has all these different intricate parts to it. And it closes with Melissa, which is another fantastic. I mean, you just have to hear this album. I don't even know how to explain it. And the vocals, I know they're not everyone's cup of tea on this one. The vocals are, you know, let's be honest, they're not very accessible. Very high falsetto. You know, if you've ever heard King Diamond, you know, he just goes really high falsetto. And a lot of people are off-put by it and don't like it at all. I happen to really love the vocal work. I like the unique vocal work in it, and I think it fits the music really well. It's very dark. And so these are 2 of the best heavy metal/doom type metal albums of the 80s, released in 83 and 84, which are coming up 40th anniversaries on both. I thought they deserved their own video to discuss them a little bit. So definitely check out Mercyful Fate's Melissa, and check out Cirith Ungol's King of the Dead. I am really upset because I had a review of both these albums that I wrote and posted in my group, and I tried to search it and it just would not come up. Facebook refused to come up with the posts. So I was going to read those reviews that I wrote, and because Facebook doesn't have a search function that works, it pulled up posts that had nothing to do with the keywords. I just typed in my name and the name of the band, and it should come up with the picture post that I posted, but it didn't. I searched and I searched and I searched, so I can't read those reviews, and I'm really upset about it. But King of the Dead, just know that the riffs on this album are really good, and the singing is really, really good. Black Machine is a super sweet song, track number 2. Master of the Pit is really badass. Master of the Pit is as cool as the song title, you know, it's just like Master of the Pit. It's an album that sounds really dark and doomy. And Finger of Scorn, which is an 8-minute epic, is one of my favorite Doom songs ever made, and it's gorgeous. So the vocal work by Tim Baker is awesome. His vocals are really fit the music well, and Jerry Fogel does really fantastic guitar work, as you would expect in an album like this. It's got 8 tracks, and a lot of them are, lengthy tracks. There's many 6 to 8 minute songs on it, so they really stretch it out. It was ranked the 14th best power metal album of all time. So it's more of a, it's kind of a power metal / doom metal, but it definitely fits for people who like doom metal. People on this channel would like it. So if you haven't heard Cirith Ungol's King of the Dead, check it out. I just wanted to make a video highlighting these 2 albums. I know that they're not exactly underground albums, so you probably know them, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of my favorite 80s heavy metal doom albums, and just float the idea, if you haven't heard them, might be a good idea to check them out before we die. So 40-year anniversaries seem like a good excuse to pull them out again and give them a listen. So thanks for watching. That'll wrap up this video. I would have gone into more, but I don't have my reviews to read, so... Well, anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Doom on, and I will talk to you soon with some more recommendations. Thanks for supporting and taking the time to watch.